Hi everyone, my name is Delaina Burns and I'm with you tonight on Live with Prima. We're going to be recreating this framed canvas. Created it several weeks ago now, but you can see I framed it with one of Prima's brand new beautiful frames. This is an 8x10. The white also comes in 12 by 12 and there is a rustic frame as well in 8x10 and 12 by 12. I don't have the glass in, but these do actually come with a glass if you have a flat project. I plan to build this out and make a shadow box out of it. So I did that on a show a while back, but I'll do that again for you one day too. But it's a pretty simple canvas, got a pretty simple background, pretty easy to do, and just a flower cluster, and I've used some metal chain and beautiful wood pieces. So just going to kind of move this to the side or kind of stand it up in front of me so I can redo what I've done. And you can see I've just got a blank canvas here. I like to use a flat back canvas. You are welcome to use the stretched canvas if that's what you like, but I'm just kind of hooked on these flat back canvases. This one came from Hobby Lobby, but you can get it at Michael's, and other art supply stores sell these as well. But anyway, I just kind of like them flat, and they're pretty hard and sturdy too, so I like that. Announcements, I don't actually have the announcements, but don't forget to tune in Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time, and be sure and check out the show on Tuesday. At this point, I don't remember who it is. If I ever knew, everything kind of runs together. When I start doing a show, I kind of forget everything but what's in front of me. So I want to go ahead and get started with the canvas by adding modeling paste, and that is number 961350. And you can see this is the large 16-ounce container. It also comes in an 8-ounce container. I use a lot of it, so you can see I go through. This is about gone. I go through quite a bit. I'm also going to use our silicone brushes to add this to our canvas, and you can see I'm fixing to just kind of smear this on here. I just wanted a really simple texture for this one. I kind of wanted it sort of monochromatic, kind of just pink and white. So I just sort of put a lot on there. You can see I just kind of globbed it on. Is that a word? Glob? Maybe that's a Alabama word, but just kind of globbed it on there. And then I'm just going to run my brush through it. You can use a palette knife, but these are Prima's new silicone brushes, and nothing sticks, so they wipe really clean when you're finished with your projects, and makes cleanup especially easy. But you can see I'm just kind of holding this up, and I'm just literally spreading it out really thick because I want the thickness, because that's going to give me the texture. And I'm just going to use the brush. If you go off the edge, just kind of wipe it and drag it back onto your canvas. You can see I'm just going to kind of wipe it on the end, and I'm just going to pull the brush through. If you're using a palette knife, just kind of pull it through, and you can see the texture it's kind of giving it. I don't want to really make like stripes or anything necessarily in it, so I'm going to try to pull this down pretty straight. I want my lines pretty straight, and if you'll lay it kind of flat down, you'll get an even different texture going there. You kind of see how that's working. See how that's giving you an even better texture if you lay it flat. Instead of standing it up and dragging it, if you lay it flat and just pull it down, you can see the textures that gets, and then just kind of turn it over and just pull it through this way as well. And then when you're done, just kind of Get that off the end there. No right or wrong way to do this, just as much texture as you like. And this is going to take just a few minutes to dry with the heat tool. So I worked ahead and I already have one dry, but you can see that is kind of the texture there. I want to kind of wipe off the excess off the brush because I want to utilize all of that. I'm just going to drag it through kind of like so. And I'm not really loving that I've got so many stripes in that. You can kind of see. So what I'm going to do is take the small silicone brush and I'm going to lay it pretty flat. And I'm going to drag some of those lines kind of out so that it doesn't appear to have like peaks of stripes. Just kind of play with it. If you have a little bit of the canvas showing through, I like that, really kind of that look. Kind of, I've got a few spots in the center here where the canvas is actually showing. I don't mind that, it adds to the texture. So just continue to kind of play with that until you like the texture that you have. And what I did is actually placed it in front of a fan to let it dry. And it took probably an hour in front of a fan to completely dry. And I will show you, I'll lay this one to the side and show you my finished. You can see, I'm going to wipe my brushes off really quick. I'm going to grab a paper towel. Let's just wipe these off really quick. You can see these silicone brushes. This is just a dry paper towel. And it wipes right off there. Cleans up really good. So my baby wipes are, I think they're in my car. So don't have baby wipes in here tonight. So I've just got dry paper towel. But that is a perfect fix for that. So we'll lay these to the side out of our way, and you can see this is our finished texture. I'm going to kind of show you up close. You see where a little bit of the canvas is kind of showing, and it's just texture. It's not a lot, not a pattern or anything, just texture. So the next thing I'm going to do is take a few more paper towels because I'm fixing to use some bloom spray and I don't have my box. I normally like to spray in a box, but didn't remember to put it close by, so we'll just make do with, I'm going to double this up some right here. First thing I'm going to do is spray some cotton candy bloom spray, and this is number 573737. We'll give it a good shake. This is probably the second time I filled this up, so it may be just a little lighter. That doesn't bother me because you can see on the original it's a very kind of a light pink with just a few darker splatters. So not going for a really dark look. So what I'm going to do is just kind of hold my paper towel up kind of at an angle to hold my canvas up at an angle, and I'm just going to give it a spray all over. Just want to cover it all over to start with. You can kind of see what I got there. Of course I got it all on my arm. So now what I'm going to do is go back in with my paper towel. This is just dry paper towel, and I'm going to dab this off. And this again is going to kind of help with the texture. The pattern a little bit in my paper towel is kind of making a little bit of a pink pattern there. And it's going to look to you on screen like it's gone back white, and it's actually not. It's a very pale pink. So I just want to give it a quick dry, dab it off, give it a quick dry with your heat tool. I hope this is not too loud. I've got the Tim Holtz gun, so it's usually pretty quiet. We'll just give it a quick dry. Y'all are going to be so shocked at how fast this goes tonight. But I'm hoping to have a little bit of time to show you one of my new favorite things that Prima has made. I've got a few favorite things, but I've got one that is just my absolute favorite. And you're going to probably be surprised at what my favorite is, but I'll keep you in suspense until the end. So I feel like there's a lot of shadowing for some reason. Let me see. Does it feel real shadowy to y'all? It does to me. Well, I can't get it to work. I can't get it to fix. So I'm going to give it now another spray with the cotton candy. Kind of hold that up so we don't get it everywhere. And what it's doing, it's kind of getting into the crevices and into the textured areas of the canvas. You can kind of see the texture better when I've got so much color there. But what I'm going to do is go back in again with the same paper towel and just dab it off again. Not going to dab really hard. I don't want to soak it all up, but I do want to remove a lot of it. And I'm just kind of hoping it kind of stays in those crevices, and I want that kind of monochromatic pink and white feel, so kind of a pale pink color. Okay, so I know on camera you're seeing a lot of white, but can you see that pink? When the light hits it, it's pink. It's a really pale pink. So now what I'm going to do is just shake up my bloom spray and open it up. I want a few splatters. So I'm going to open it up, and I'm just going to tap it and give it a few splatters. Kind of all around. Kind of like so. Okay, and then I'm going to use my heat tool again and give it a quick dry. The next thing I'm going to use is the Frost Bloom Spray Color Bloom, and it is number 582890. I'm going to use that next. Just because I want a few, this is really white. The Frost really dries very white, so I want a few white splatters on here as well. You could use the you could like water down the white chalk edger as well. There's also a white in the confections. There's a white color. You could use the confections for this as well. You could just add your color to the side on your non-stick surface and then just drag it through with your paintbrush. Change your colors up. Use the new Color Bloom Spray 2s. Prima has lots of options for coloring now. So it's kind of ironic that I'm going back to the original bloom sprays, but I still love them, and if you own them, I hope you still love them. So I just want to sort of use not an oldie but goodie, but you know, it's just all Prima's coloring products are fabulous forever. Okay, now we're going to use the Frost, and I'm going to shake it up really well, and I'm going to just kind of make some splatters with it as well. Just not really going to do anything but a few splatters. It's not really, that's kind of a big one. I want a few really big ones, so I'm just going to kind of rest my little straw kind of in a few areas. And this right here may be totally covered by the flowers, so let's move up here. And just a few areas, I just want to kind of concentrate, make a few larger splatters on my own. Now I thought that was my dryer. Now we're going to dry this. You're going to see this is going to go so fast. We're literally almost done. Dry time is like the biggest part of this. I'm going to show y'all some metals that I actually, they're Prima metals, but I spray painted them with like an enamel spray paint before the show, and it's just really easy to do that. The metals take the paint really well. Okay, what I'm going to do is like soak some of that up. I've dried it just a little, and then I'm just going to kind of dab it with the paper towel so that it's kind of blends in with that pink. You can kind of see, still see them there. You see them there. You can still see the splatters, but they're a little more subtle by doing it that way. Okay, so that's all we're going to do. We don't need the paper towel anymore. That's all we're going to do as far as coloring goes. So you can kind of see, getting a little bit darker pink here on this one than I had on my original one, and that's okay. What's happening here as far as my products go, originally I used flowers from Frank's collection, the Tales of You and Me collection. These flowers are from the Royal Menagerie collection. I'm using these because you can actually buy these in Hobby Lobby now. Hobby Lobby is carrying Royal Menagerie and a few of the flowers. And I know Frank's Tales of You and Me is a little harder to find now, but if you own them or if you can get your hands on them, they both work. They're very similar, but in this color is just a little bit darker, so it's a good thing that this is a little bit darker. It makes this work just a little bit closer to the color of the canvas. But these flowers are very similar, and it's really nice that you can get those or get these. I know it's an older collection, but you can get them at Hobby Lobby. I'm just going to pull them all out, and I need both of these larger ones. You always want kind of a large and a medium when you start a cluster, and I just kind of move them around, turn them around, fluff them up until they kind of fit together. And you can kind of see this is sort of how I start my clusters. I just kind of manipulate them. The leaves are going to have to go. This is a third color, and I don't really want that green color, so let's go ahead and pull the leaves off. Just take those right off, and we don't have any more to deal with there. So we're not going to use the berries. We're not going to use the leaves. So we're going to put those back in the bag. You can use those on another project. This number for these are 583330. Originally, if you look on Facebook, I used Frank's Tales of You and Me, and that number will be on Facebook with my product list. So if you want that number, just take a peek over there. And if Miranda has that, she can grab that number. Okay, what I did is I took a lot of metals. Let's just lay our flowers off to the side because I want to lay these metals out. I painted all of these with spray paint. Originally, they looked like this. This is them originally. I used number 960339 Vintage Trinkets and 960315 more Vintage Trinkets, but I just kind of laid them down and spray painted the back first, and then flipped them over and spray painted the front. And out in the sun, it took probably 10 minutes to dry, literally. The next thing I used is this chain. This is number 990695, and I did the same thing. I spray painted this white. The way I achieved the chain, it was a little bit more complicated to spray paint, so I got this idea. I took a foam board and I just kind of hung it across that foam board the whole length that I needed, which was probably about a half a yard, and I took little stick pins and just poked them through the little ends onto that foam board, spray painted one side, let that dry, turned the chain over, spray painted the other side. And again, that dried in probably 10-15 minutes tops in the sun. It was really quick to do, and really quick, really easy. So, and really looks good. Mine is not like shiny. It doesn't have, it's not an acrylic, or it's not a, what am I thinking? It's not a gloss. I used a flat paint. You could use a gloss and make it a little shinier. I kind of wanted it flat, so I used an enamel flat spray paint. So you could do gloss or semi-gloss or whatever you want to do, but I just chose to do the flat. I used a lot of flat paint when I was doing wedding stuff, so I just happened to have it. So you can kind of bend these, and I wanted to bend these just a little bit up. I don't know how many of these I'll use, but I wanted to just kind of have them. I laid my chain out, and I'm going to show you. I used 4 pieces of chain, and my idea was, because we like to work in uneven numbers, and I know I ended up using 4 pieces of chain, but I'll tell you my thinking on that. I wanted 3 in this section like this, like a cluster of 3, and then 1 over here. So it really appealed to me doing it like that. I thought that worked really well, even though it's not in an uneven number. I felt like that really worked. So kind of play around with that. If you wanted to add 1 more piece of chain, if you need it to be an odd number, just add another piece of chain there. But I thought this worked. It was pleasing to me. When I looked at it, it looked pretty good. So that's what happened there with the chain. Why you see 4 and not 3, or not 5, or not 7. It's 3 and 1 in my mind. So that's what I did that for. So what I wanted to do is have my cluster here. There's not a right or wrong way to do this either. You do it where you like it. So I just kind of laid my chain down, and I'm going to tell you how long these pieces are. The one here is about 5.5. The one all the way to the right, let me lay him out. He measures about 3 inches. The one just to the left here measures about 4 inches. And if you're off a 1/2 inch or 1 inch or whatever, don't worry about it. Do it like you like it. And this one is also about 4 inches, but I'm going to kind of drag that up into the cluster because we do want these kind of uneven right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is locate my glue. That is the one thing I did not locate before I got started. Give me a minute. Of course, it's behind me. Grab my glue, and I'm going to use Fabri-Tac, and I use Fabri-Tac for everything. It adheres the metal as long as there's paper or modeling paste and other things involved. I don't really recommend gluing metal to metal with Fabri-Tac, but it does tend to work for me if I've got another element involved, if that makes sense to you. So I just want to kind of lay this chain out, and I'm kind of looking toward the bottom and just kind of eyeballing it. But I'm going to give you a few measurements in just a minute so that you'll know about exactly what I did. But for now, I'm just literally kind of eyeballing this, and I want to swap these. And the reason I'm swapping these is because I want 2 little or 3 little tails on this larger one and just 1 here. I kind of played around with that too, as far as what I wanted to see at the bottom of these. And I love this chain because it's got these larger circles, and I kind of wanted that to be part of my accent. So when I'm looking at it, I'm really looking at how these things end at the bottom, and I wanted to be sure they were a little bit different. Not any one is exactly the same. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just kind of lay my flowers here, and I want this larger flower to be on these 2 pieces of chain. So when you're creating this, if you decide to recreate this, that's kind of where I started, right there. I liked how this looked when I got started with my, you can kind of see the way that the outside is, how my rectangle is, and then how the shape of this is falling in the center. So that's where I started with my flower right there. So what I'm going to do is just take some glue, and I'm going to just, nobody panic, this is all going to be covered, and I'm just going to add some glue. So trust me, this is all going to be covered. I just want to lift this up. I'm going to grab my scissors. Just want to lift this up. Be sure there's glue underneath there. Kind of move these around. And we're going to smash the flowers down on there too. And I know this is like maybe not a real professional teaching way of doing this, but a lot of times I'm just kind of eyeballing, and when I like it, I leave it. So that's what happened here. I liked this, and I ended up leaving it. So I'm going to grab my larger flower, and it's going to go right about there. Then I'm going to grab my medium-sized flower, and I'm adding glue to the flowers too. I need a lot of glue. I want to be sure it's really adhered. So what I'm going to do, I want this one down just a little bit farther. So I'm just going to really kind of play around and fit these together really snug. I want these so you can kind of turn them around and adjust them until they fit really, really snug together. Kind of like that. And then you can kind of move your chain too, if you need to move it in and over. And the Fabri-Tac's going to stay wet for a while, so you're going to have a little bit of playtime. Okay, so the next one I want to add is this larger one. And the first thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to cut this yellow center out, and I'll show you in a minute why. I don't want another color. I want pink and white. So let's take that yellow center out. Add that right there. Then I want to cover this area up right here. So let's cut this center out. I already put the glue on there, but let's cut this center out. I'm going to cover up these yellow centers. Let's add this one just under here. And I'm building this cluster, and I'm kind of adding, I'm going to use a lot smaller flowers, so I don't know, these are kind of semi-small here, but I'm going to add that right about there. And I want this to kind of move out this way, kind of out and away. So next we're going to cut out that center. Right about there. Okay, right about there. Okay, now I want to add in some of my metal flowers. I know with this piece of metal here, I wanted to add this metal rose, and you can see when I put those together, they don't quite touch. So I want to grab probably gonna use a little piece of paper towel. I had a little piece of white cardboard, but paper towel will work. I need something white. So just grab a little piece, and y'all know I like free pop dots and things like that, so paper towel works for me. Okay, let me grab up all the glue I strung across my finger. Thank goodness for gel nail polish, because Fabri-Tac does not remove the gel nail polish. Okay, we've got our little paper down in there. Just kind of stuff it down in there, hide all of it. We're gonna flatten it out real good. I'm gonna add some glue to the top of it, and all I'm trying to do is just giving it a meat for the rose here. So you can see that the rose is gonna kind of lay flat now. It'll actually be glued down, and since we've used that white paper towel, it's never going to show. So let's add a little bit of glue under here. And I want to just kind of tuck this in right about here. Right about there. And then I want to grab, I think I want to do maybe this one right here. Right now I'm going to kind of tuck it in up here. So let's add some glue. And the Fabri-Tac's still wet up under these flowers, so we can kind of tuck that in. And I'm going to kind of stand that up. If it doesn't stand up, you can kind of bend it so that it does, because I want to add some dimension with that. And as you're moving this around, if it sort of spreads out, your cluster sort of spreads out, you can kind of push it back together. This is from a flower that I cut off and used, so I want to use this piece right here too. I'm just going to kind of tuck it in right here, just so it's kind of showing right there. Kind of see that, just kind of tucked in right there. You kind of see it. Then I want to use this one here with these little pointy leaves. And any of these that you're tucking under, you are welcome to kind of cut off what you're not seeing and use it like I just used that piece on a different project. So just kind of bend these up so that's kind of showing. See how that's just kind of coming out there. And I'm just going to surround this with the metal all the way around. I'm going to use the metal. This piece here, I'm going to kind of find the front. There's the front, and then just kind of bend it up. And I'm adding the glue where it's going to be hid, where it's going to be under the flowers. So adding it where I'm going to tuck it. So right about there with that piece, just about like that. And you can see we've got our flowers here in the center. We've got metals all the way around, kind of like so. Then I want to go in, I like this little piece right here. Kind of reminds me of a snowflake, but we're using it for a flower, so it's not a snowflake, but it would work as a snowflake. I'm gonna tuck it in, and even if we have to go under the chain, kind of lift your chain up and put it right up under there. Just keep building your cluster. And just keep making sure that your chain is still falling down and you've still got your 3 areas, your 3 pieces here for your 1 area and your 1 over here, kind of like so. Okay, you kind of see what we got there. Looks like we got room for maybe another flower here, but I'm going to grab just some extra flowers that are from, these have a little bit too much of a purpley feel to me, so I'm not going to use these, but I am going to use some of these that I just sort of have in my stash, just left over from other projects. I know y'all probably have that too, just pieces of flowers from other things. This one here, let's remove the leaf. I'm going to have little green leaves everywhere. Let's remove the center. Bye-bye center. No yellow. Let's add some glue. Let's put this right about here. We need something just right about there. And then this little bitty one right here with this pearl center. And any flowers that you have in your stash will work as long as you're in these pink and white tones. They will work. This is from some of the trims. These little flowers would work. So I think that's about what we need. I'm gonna maybe open this cluster up just a little bit, move these around till I kind of like it. The next thing I want to add is a little bit of wood, and I went way back to some of the wood icons and pieces that Prima has had over the years, and I just pulled from stash in a drawer. The word joy. I've got these leaves from a while ago. You can even get these leaves now and flowers at Michael's. They have a collection of them. If you can't find the ones that Prima made at one time, little bird. I had a different bird on the original one, but I did find this little bird right here in my stash, so I'm going to use him. And what I've done is I just used the white chalk edger. This one was already kind of whitewashed, but I wanted it a little whiter, so just kind of stamp it with your chalk edger. All these pieces the same, just stamp it with your chalk edger. If a little bit of the wood shows through, that's okay. Not too worried about that. Maybe use this flower here. And we're just going to do the white. We're not going to worry about any other color, just white. We've got a bow here. This was from the Anna Marie collection a while back. This was a little wooden bow that was in there. Julie Nutting has some metal bows. You could die cut a little bow if you wanted to do the same little bow look that I did. Or you could actually use some little wire and just add trinkets all down your chain here. Just kind of wire those on, or use your little jump rings, or whatever you need to kind of get those on there to have things hanging down. So I wanted to just take a piece, one of these little leaves, and I think I'm going to glue two of them together so we get it kind of go in both directions, kind of like so. And I'm going to just snip off the bottom part of that because it's not going to show. And my screen just went black. Y'all know I can't read the chat, and I do apologize. I feel bad every time. I just cannot read the chat while I'm teaching. I'm not that talented. I just can't do it. So I'm going to kind of tuck that in. That's sticking out just a little bit too much. I'm going to cut just a little bit more of that off and add a little bit of glue and tuck that in right there. Just didn't want it standing up quite so tall. Next we have our little bird, and I'm going to tuck him in. And if you have other pieces, butterflies or other flowers or metal pieces, just whatever you want to add in these areas is totally okay. Just kind of need that thank you, Miranda. Miranda is so sweet. Thank you, Miranda. Kind of need that height right there, because when you build your cluster, you want it to have a little bit of symmetry from the center. You want it to kind of work out, and you want things tucked in, and you want dimension, and you want everything, of course. So just whatever it takes to get everything. Is that good enough? Okay, we need our bow. We glued our bow right about here, and we glued our title. Now Prima has come out with some gorgeous new wooden alphabets, and you could also, to get your title here, you could take those brand new wooden alphabets and glue them to a piece of acetate, or your old packaging, your clear old packaging, or to a piece of cardstock, whatever. Make you a word and glue it down just like I'm using this word here. There are other words that Prima has made that would work here as well. This just happens to be the one I had in my stash, and so you can do anything you like here for a title. Just whatever you like that would go across this area right here, just to give you a title. I love the word joy. It is for a lot of different things going on in our lives, and lots of gift ideas for people when you have the word joy for their birthday or just any old thing. My husband is a huge lover of flowers. He would love this for an anniversary gift because he loves flowers. So I'm going to grab a white pearl. I need a pretty large white pearl. Let's use this one. And that's Miranda talking to me. So it beeps twice if I don't tell it to stop. So just put a little bit of glue and drop a pearl down in there. I have a bazillion pearls now since the wedding. Pearls were on everything. Pearls are all over my house. The grandbaby came and I said, we got all the pearls up. You're not going to be able to find pearls anymore, because she was coming over during all the work and she was finding so many. Well, she found 3. So they're still everywhere. I thought they were all up, but they're not. They're still everywhere. So add some glue, and it's going everywhere. Add the Fabri-Tac, and where I'm going to add this is on one of these larger round areas of this chain, like so. And just let that dry. And I'm using Fabri-Tac because it's on the wood and then on the metal it's going to hold. I don't know the deal with metal to metal. It does not work as well, but metal to wood, metal to paper, metal to whatever, it works. So I just use the Fabri-Tac because it is my favorite. Okay, so we got our bow. Now our final little thingy here is to add some centers to our flowers, because we removed our centers. And I'm going to use the Royal Menagerie Say It in Crystals 582326. So I want to use those first. We want to add yeah, I can't do it with my fingers. I have to use my scissors. I'm going to pull off a lighter pink colored one and put it in the center. You can add a little extra glue on these if you like. I've got this kind of stuck. I want to open this up a little bit. Add that to there, and talking very country, I said there. Okay, then we're going to add this one kind of over here. I want one there and one there. Then I think I'm going to use just some flat back pearls, and these came, I'm sure, from Hobby Lobby. So let's just, and these are kind of linked together, so I have to cut them apart first. So let's grab the flat back pearls, and I think we need a smaller one for that flower. So let's grab this one. These are kind of a mess. Add that right there. Is that all that we need? I think so. We have another little pearl right here. Let's get a bigger one. Pull that off. Add that right about there, like so. And then what I did is to get a little more bling. I got bling, 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 bling. I want another little bling down here because I kind of like to keep that triangle. And that's kind of a perfect triangle. I didn't really mean to do that, but I want to do one of these small, really light colored ones right at the bottom there. Just right at the bottom. So that gives me my little triangle. I feel like I have a little symmetry and a little evenness there, so you can see. Whew, I'm 15 minutes early because we are done. That is it. That is our project, and you can kind of see that our chain is just falling down. So that's what we made tonight. And let's see, this is our original twinsies. This one's a little darker. The one we made tonight's just a tad darker. But you see the flowers are so similar, and it still just looks so pretty. And it's beautiful once you frame it. So don't forget to pick up the Prima frames. They are fabulous. So I got a couple of minutes. So I want to show you something, because right now, I am just thrilled. I'm going to leave that there so you can keep looking at that. But I am thrilled with the brand new confetti dies. I am loving playing with these. On my next show, I'll be back next Thursday. I'm going to be using the confetti dies, but I'm going to be using the negative on the die. I'm going to be using the negative that the die creates. But what I want to show you, if I can find it. What I did today is, during my show in October, I'm going to be making some shaker cards. I went to Hobby Lobby and I found some thin rolled metal. This is just really thin, very bendable, very pliable. Create with metal, designer metal sheets, it's what it's called. It comes in a couple of colors. And I ran these through, that's what this is. I ran these through the Big Shot with the confetti die. And oh my gosh, you got to see these little things. These may not thrill y'all like they do me, but these little confetti pieces look like little, kind of like little bowls now. It embosses just a little. Can you, I don't think you can see, but it embosses just a little and turns up that edge and makes these little stars, and the little confetti pieces are actually dimensional. I mean, you could literally feel that. It's a very shallow little bowl, but you could fill that little area with glitter or stuff. It's just, I'm so excited about these dies and the idea of being able to make confetti for shaker cards. And I'm going to be doing some pretty shaker cards for Christmas on October the 18th when I come back for that show. I'm going to use these negative pieces that I have left over. You can see those are the hearts. That's what the stars look like. I love them, and you can see they're awesome dies. They're really deep, and because they're kind of raised up back here, it just bends that in just a little bit to make that confetti very dimensional. So they're fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Shaker cards are like some of my favorite things, so I'm excited. You could sprinkle these on layouts, or I could even sprinkle a few on the canvas here. Just lots of ideas, lots of things that can be done with that confetti. So are y'all surprised that that's like my very favorite thing right now from Prima? It's a die, and a confetti die at that, but I love it. So I just wanted to show you and let you know that in a few weeks I'm going to be back and we'll be using them. In fact, next Thursday, don't forget, I'll be here doing a Julie nutting project, and I will be using the negative part of the die. So let me see. Hey, Deb Doodle. Hey, Lydia. I'm trying to see if I've missed a lot of, I've missed everyone, y'all. I'm so sorry. Hey, Ray. Hey, Lisa Gregory. And Zandra. I've missed so many people, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me. Be sure and come back on Tuesday, and you'll see an absolutely fabulous show as always. And in fact, we have, I can't say because I will say the wrong person, but anyway, we have a fabulous show on Tuesday. I'm sorry I don't have the announcements in front of me. That's what happens when Carrie goes away. I forget how to do my job. So anyway, y'all, thanks again for joining me. Have a great night, and I will see y'all next Thursday. Bye now.